When first getting into the ant hobby, I really did ask some stupid questions. This is them. So AntsHQ actually reached out to me a few weeks ago and said, we want to send you some ants as a bit of a promotion if you could promote us as a company. And I thought to myself, normally I get these kind of offers all the time on YouTube just because I have got quite a big platform. Well, normally I wouldn't take that offer. Normally I just wouldn't do it. It's not bothered me. But then I thought with this one, I have been looking into ants for quite a while. It is something that fascinates me, and I could really go into detail about my whole experience as a complete new hobbyist from the start to the finish. And this is just part of that series. I've just had a squirrel run out in front of me. Hello, matey. Oh, bye. Normally I wouldn't expose myself with all of these stupid questions and stuff like that, but I would often find out that these questions are normally the questions that people are too scared to ask these new companies when they're actually getting into the hobby. So these are the answers to those stupid questions, I guess. We're going to start off with my least cringiest and go right up to my most cringiest. So this is the first one, and it's quite a simple one. It's a simple person's mind. I didn't know this, and it's such a simple response. They sent me a list of all the stuff they were going to send me, of basically a full starter kit, everything, the foraging area, the nursery, the actual ants, barrier or everything. If you want to see the video on me actually unboxing it and setting it all up and stuff like that, I'll link it just up there for you. Just click on that, it'll take you right through. But be warned, it is 26 minutes long. My simple question was, so you're sending me these ants, it was the Manica rubida species, and I was like, oh yeah, fair enough then, but do they actually grow themselves, or is it a case of put them in there and they just live as long as they live and then they die off? How simple a question was that? Nope. You're going to be getting a queen, you're going to be getting the workers, some larvae, all that sort of stuff. Everything's going to be there. It'll grow itself. The queen has the potential to rear up 10 to 20,000 ants. I can potentially make a nice big show display out of that, so stay tuned for that. But that was a simple question that I got a good answer for. Now, one thing I did notice, and I will highly suggest, is every single time I did ask him, I was completely honest, I'm a complete newbie. They do fascinate me, I do want to get into them, but I do have some stupid questions. His response was always, Richard, there is no stupid questions here. We would rather you ask all these questions, as many questions as you want. We're always going to be here, whether you've got the ants, before you've got the ants, we're always going to be here to help you out, no matter what. There is no stupid questions. Feel free to ask anything. And that actually really reassured me. So if you're looking at getting into the ant hobby, AntsHQ is definitely 100% recommended by myself. Because even right now, a couple of weeks later, I've done loads of research. They sent out a full care package with it, a full sheet, couple of A4 pages full of all the details I need. And the next Instagram message that I sent him was, this may be a bit of a stupid question, but what do I feed them? Where do I get that food from? How often do I feed them? How much? All that sort of stuff. Me being a simpleton, I thought ants in this sort of terrain, I always just thought they lived off like leaf litter and stuff. I've seen videos of like the leaf cutter ants walking around rope with big chunks of leaves on their back. I generally thought that was their food. That was my knowledge. Turns out they're actually a predator. I could feed them mealworms, baby crickets, fruit flies, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, it's quite handy really, because I do breed all my own food. I've got my own breeding live food areas in mind, baby dubias and stuff like that. Anyway, I've got my fruit flies. That's what I'll feed them for now. See how they get on with that. But I was like, predators? Apparently I'm supposed to feed a colony of this size. I think I got 7 workers. I got a queen, some larvae. A colony of this size to start with, 3 to 5 every 5 to 7 days. That was fruit flies, so that'll do me just perfectly fine. I felt quite silly asking that and getting the response. I was like, huh? If you do fancy learning how to breed your own live food, that's mealworms, superworms, dubia roaches, crickets, whatever, just click on the playlist just up there. I've done loads of videos on it. You're bound to find a video in there that interests you. And number 3 was, I felt really silly asking this one, but this actually came about because I'm a reptile enthusiast. So I know that, like the bearded dragons, leopard geckos, they tend to get a lot of their moisture through their live food. Now I know that the ants actually eat live food. What do they drink? How do I give them drink? All that sort of stuff. And it was quite a simple one really. I just got to give them sugar water or honey water, mix 50-50 water to sugar. Done. Well, they're ants, won't they drown in that? You can stick it in a piece of cotton wool, all that sort of stuff. You can stick it in a sponge, or you can just stick the odd droplet in the foraging area. They'll come out, get it. The sugar water or the honey water gives the ants and the workers a lot of energy. Just been hit in the face by a fly. That gives them the energy to go through the week, change it out once every week or so. Admittedly, I always make sure there is a piece of sugar water there or honey water. I've not used honey water yet, but sugar water is always in the foraging area. I've actually got a tiny little cup, like a tattoo ink cup, and I've just basically simply just cut it in half, stuck it down there. Now don't fill it up, I just stick one droplet in with the pipette that they actually sent in the system. Job's a good one. Number 4, or is it 5? I don't know. We've got a few more left to stage. Just keep watching. If you like ant videos like this, make sure you do hit that thumbs up button, because just lets me know that you do actually like these videos, and I'll keep making them. It's as simple as that. Stick a comment down below. Let me know if you guys actually got any ants. Are you guys looking at getting any ants? I'm actually really fascinated by these. But anyway, I've gone off topic. Let's go on to the next one. I got a bit... I don't want to ask any more stupid questions and make myself look a bit stupid. So I turned around to him and said, what are the biggest or most common big sort of beginner mistakes? What are the beginner mistakes? And he come back, well, that's a great question. These are the mistakes. And he listed them. Moving them into an enclosure that's too big for them. They can get lost and stuff like that. So you don't want to do that. Storing them in direct sunlight is really bad. So they sent out a piece of acetate paper, like a red gel paper that just goes around it. That way it keeps them dark, but yet we can still observe them and still enjoy them, which I found really good. And feeding them too much can do it. I thought that does me just fine. I'll stick to all that. He was going on about how the queen can actually eat the brood, and the brood is a term for the eggs, the larvae, all that sort of stuff. It's not so much of a big deal when you've got a big colony, but for a small colony it can be detrimental to the actual colony. So what have I done? I've used the crepe paper that they've sent me, put that around the actual nest that they sent me. They sent me the appropriate size nest for them. He said that'll last them 8 to 12 months, which is absolutely perfect. I'll link it all down in the description below if you want to go check them sort of things out. I've not stored it in direct sunlight, and I'm feeding it as per he requested me to feed it. He's obviously the expert and I'm a total new beginner. And the next one, we've got one more after this one, so I'm not going to keep you around for too long. But can we put any decor in the foraging area? It just looks quite bare, like just sand. I've got a little dish in there for a bit of sugar water, but that's it. Can I put some sort of decor in there to add a little bit of enrichment for the actual animals, give them something to do, something different? And because let's face it, a foraging area that's just got a piece of sand in the bottom, isn't that just the same as royal pythons with a rub? And you go, yeah, by all means stick something in there, make sure it's safe to go in there. So hence why I'm out in the forest now. I know this forest has no dog walkers, I know it's perfectly safe. So I've been out, I've got myself a little piece of a fern. That's one of the leaf things, so I'm going to cut it off about there. He's told me don't put it above the barrier, because on the top of the foraging area I've had to put an oil barrier to stop them escaping. So put some down there. I'm going to find a nice rock or a stone, which to be honest I might actually just go to the beach and do that, get my son involved and get a seashell or something like that. Maybe that'll be quite nice in there, I don't know. But either way, I've got this little piece of fern. I'm going to cut it up, stick it in there. But let's go to the next one, the most cringiest question I asked AntsHQ. And the worst question I've asked AntsHQ, in my eyes anyway, the cringiest one. There's something I should have really have just researched. Now sorry if you can hear some cars. We have come down the road side of the lake. There is a road behind us. But a little bit of context. When you buy your ants, they come in a test tube. One part of the test tube is just filled with water and bunged off with a piece of like cotton wool or something really compact so it doesn't leak or anything. Well, why? That's what I asked. Why is there water in it? And to be fair, it's quite inventive really, because on the nursery tubes you've got from AntsHQ as well, they've got a little chimney on one side and you fill that full of water. Well, why? Well, it turns out they actually need high humidity. That's also the correct way of rearing up the young queens. So they've got somewhere to drink. You put the queens in there, they grow their colony up nicely, but they've got that little bit of drinking water because the water gently seeps through that cotton wool. And it's just all, they need the humidity, they need the water, that's just the way it's done. It's also a great way of shipping them as well. Something new you learn every day. But through knowing that, I've managed to realise that I need to up the humidity inside my enclosures that little bit more and give them that little bit more water. It works perfect for me. But if you guys do have any sort of questions, anything you might feel is a silly question, or if you're thinking about getting into ants but you don't actually want to start looking into it too much, just feel free to leave your questions down below. I'll always just forward them over to Caesar at AntsHQ and see what he says and stick your responses back down in the reply. Thanks for tuning in, guys. From me and from the lake, peace out.